Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.
The Sean Combs sex trafficking trial enters a fourth week of testimony as we hear from Suge Knight, Combs' rap rival whose name has come up often at the trial. Dan Abrams is standing by. We're going to talk to him after Chief Investigative Correspondent Aaron Katursky gives us this report from the courthouse. Good morning, Aaron.
And good morning to you, George. Long before federal prosecutors put Sean Combs on trial here, his chief hip-hop competitor told us that Combs was known in the industry for some of the very conduct that could now put him in prison.
Can't nobody hold me down. Oh, no.
This morning, as a fourth week of testimony begins in the Sean Combs trial in New York, his West Coast rival and Death Row Records founder Suge Knight is speaking out from behind bars in California, telling ABC News Combs' sexual appetites were an open secret beginning in the 1990s.
Everybody knew that. Puffy didn't just pop in the industry and say, hey, I want to have sex with everybody.
The rivalry between Combs and Knight, notoriously marked by the shooting deaths of Biggie Smalls and Knight's artist Tupac Shakur, has come up at trial. Capricorn Clark became Combs' assistant after working for Knight and testified that on her first day, Combs took her to Central Park. He told me he didn't know that I had anything to do with Suge Knight, and if anything happened, he would have to kill me.
A lot of people might say, well, Capricorn could have did anything else she wanted to do. She did try. If you go get a job at Universal and probably make a phone call, you're not getting that job. If you go get a job at a talent agency or in the movie business and probably make that call, your career is over.
Knight has come up during trial at least 50 times. Another former assistant, David James, testified he once spotted Knight at Mel's Diner in Los Angeles and was then forced to accompany Combs, who he said was armed, to confront him.
If there's anything suggesting that I was doing anything illegal, I'm going to say definitely not.
Knight, who spoke to us from a California prison where he's serving time for a fatal hit and run, expressed some sympathy for Combs.
I don't feel that they should take Puffy and lock him up and throw away the key. I think he can do so much good right now. Him telling the truth about the industry.
Wow. Guys, make sure you like, subscribe to the channel so that you see the news is definitely on top of this. Suge Knight, you got to understand Capricorn Clark was Suge Knight's assistant. Capricorn Clark was also Diddy's assistant. That's why you keep hearing his name come up in the trial. Make sure you guys check everything out in its entirety because we got a lot to cover in a small amount of time. But let's think about this for a second. When you look at Suge Knight and Diddy been rivals for a long time. Diddy's been pretty much going through it. This is fourth week. His court is just steadily rolling through. And people's names are coming up. As you just heard, Suge Knight's name been up 50 times. 50 times is a lot of time for somebody's name to pop up in a case. That's because they had so many dark ties. This is crazy when you think about it because you don't know what's going to come next. This was people's private life. Now lights being shined on it. And you see all the stuff that's going on when you look at the different encounters. You hear what Suge Knight is saying. Suge Knight is pretty much, if you go watch this on ABC and you start to check out what really was being said in its entirety, you'll see that it's crazy. But at the end of the day, that's why you got to think about it. He was just on Piers Morgan's show last week. Suge Knight was. He was just, he's been campaigning a lot now. And I think it's a direct reflection of what Diddy is going through because he wants to make sure his presence is felt because he did not like Diddy. Him and Diddy was not at all, as y'all already know, the Tupac and Biggie story. A lot of people think it's because Suge and pretty much Diddy put keys in these boys' back. A lot of times they saying it was sacrifices. There's all sorts of stuff being said about Diddy and Suge Knight when it comes to Tupac and Biggie. We all know the story. If you're older, you lived it, you've seen it. If you're younger, you read books about it. But it has not at all declined when it comes down to those two people's, relationship. The time when they was around at that Jermaine Dupri's party. These things are things that everybody know happened. The time when they linked up, you just heard my guy, OG Pyru, talk about them showing up and the Clash of the Titans at the Soul Train Music Awards. So these guys are definitely familiar with each other, and they know each other's very well. They know each other's moves. They played chess for a very long time against each other when it comes to this entertainment business. I remember interviewing Reggie Wright, and he talked about Suge not wanting to have Leo sign Snoop Dogg up on the East Coast. That's how he ends up with Master P, according to Reggie Wright, when I interviewed him. Also, there's been other cases where I spoke with DOC or whoever, and you knew that there was a schism, there was a split when it came down to the relationships of these guys in these entertainment rooms, these different places. So as you see all of these people dedicated to who they was with, choosing the sides they chose, now a lot of people have backed off of Diddy because they don't want no parts of that. They're trying to figure out ways not to be included in that. And so, of course, all his friends then backed away from him. Everybody coming that he was his so-called workers up and testifying against him. So why not have his arch rival, Suge Knight, start becoming a play in this situation when it comes down to Diddy? And the thing you got to understand, the prosecution is so dirty. The media is full of dirty tricks, as Tupac said. When you think about the fact of how they're using him, they're using Suge Knight's voice in order to go against what Diddy has done. So a guy who's already locked up, they take his whole situation, his whole thoughts, his whole ways of speaking out, and now they're using it in the media, which is unheard of when you think about it, because he's already facing time for, running over somebody or whatever, hit and run. But at the end of the day, they're still using his voice to try and do what? Trying to do what? Get a prosecution, pretty much, to get pretty much this guy convicted. That's what they want. They want to try to sway the jury any way they can. So they're using Suge Knight's voice. They're using Capricorn Clark's testimony. They're using Kid Cudi, whoever they can come up with. And Diddy just got his work cut out for him. Now, the problem is when you look at Steele and his attorneys that he's hired, I don't think they're blocking enough. They're letting too much evidence come in. They're letting things happen that basically normally you would think that they would be pretty much stopping from happening. There's too many things being introduced in the case. But again, it's still shaky on which way it's going because we got more time. We got another month and a half of information that's going to flow through this thing. And we're going to see where this thing ends up at. But Suge Knight definitely is a voice. If you look it up in the news, they're bringing him up now and they're putting him on the forefront when it comes down to talking about different things, when it comes down to Capricorn Clark or any of the situations they can familiarize him with, because they know whatever he said about Diddy is not going to be something that's going to be positive. It's going to be negative. And so they're going to take and spin it as much as they can. So I think you'll hear more. As long as Suge want to talk, they'll listen to him and they'll broadcast it across the waves because they want to make sure that they get everybody's mind to go with that. They're trying to win by any means necessary. So get ready because you're going to see more stuff like that come out. I don't know if Shine will be in this thing, but it's a lot of people they can go at and try to get them subpoenaed and get them up on that stand and try to figure out a way to fight this case against Diddy. When you think about it, there's so many crazy things coming out. If you look on the back screen behind me, you see Ray J. Ray J came out with some disturbing news on Suge Knight. I don't know where it's coming from. I do know that after this Piers Morgan interview and the things that Suge let loose on that interview has made this whole thing crazy. OG Pyru flew in this week just so he could come on and talk about what happened with that day, because he wanted to go watch that interview and you'll see, because he was out there that day when Terry lost his life and he's talking about it on the interview. And I'm going to be honest with you, epic interview, things coming out, letting you know what really happened that day. So you'll see him detail that whole event, being one of the guys that was out there, being one of the guys that was trying to help Suge, according to him. And it's crazy because now they're looking like, hey man, why would you go on here and out us and act as if we took $20,000 to try to set you up to kill you. That's what the OG came down and was letting me in on. I didn't even realize that he had said it until he brought it to my attention. But then I hear Ray J come out. And Ray J has some disturbing news. I'm going to listen to a little bit of it.
I remember when I entered into the news game last year, but now I'm an official affiliate for multiple news networks. I have my own news show. It's called The Reality Check. Me and Amber Rose just closed a new big deal with a multimedia news firm, so we'll be the new anchors of some mainstream shit happening, right? But if you remember, I said asses are being taken. Asses are being taken in ways that nobody can explain. I said that on the national news. That shit went viral. And guess what? Niggas thought I was talking about Diddy. That's why I got into it with his sons, because they come pressing me. I'm like, bro, mind y'all business. Y'all don't even know who I'm talking about. Nigga, I'm talking about Suge, bro. I'm talking about Suge taking niggas, not Diddy. Suge is a big ass raper taker for men, bro. I mean, a real taker.
Man, this is crazy. When you think about what Ray J is saying here, he's pretty much said that Suge is pretty much a raper taker. And when you look at what he's saying, he said they went and got butters, sticks of margarine, and it was you got to go watch this, because Ray J is really giving it to him. And he's talking about he messing with people in their ears and just sound real throwed off, man. The craziest freak offish stuff that you could hear, Ray J is speaking on it. Ray J is pretty much shooting shots, and he ain't caring who get hit if you're over there with him. So if you was over there and Ray J seen it, he telling right now. So you better pray to God that he don't remember you if it was something that was going on when you was in there with him. I don't know, but I can tell you right now, Ray J is not holding back. And it's just crazy to me that when you look at this whole situation, how Ray J just came out and said this once he seen the move. He like, oh, hell no, I'm gonna show you. You can't speak on my name. So he ends up coming out, and this is what he said. He going crazy on Suge Knight. And then he's saying Diddy's son. You remember I talked about that months ago, where Diddy's sons was pretty much, they pressed Ray J, and they ran up on him, and they got into an issue. This was months ago because of their dad. And he said, no, it wasn't your dad. It was Suge. Y'all mind your own business. Because he now saying Suge was the one that was taking niggas' asses. That's what he just said. And it's crazy to me, man, because now you got all these brothers. Let me take it to a real place right quick for y'all. Man, once again, we all looking crazy talking about each other in a manipulative way in order to get each other taken out. And it's crazy to me because they don't even need your help. You're going to get yourself in a situation anyway when it comes down to dealing with the situation, the way they look at you entertainers. They look at you in a way to where they feel like you're not going to be responsible. It's like giving a kid a loaded gun when he's too young to handle it. They've given you guys enough room to take yourself out. So doing it to each other is what exactly they're going to do anyway. So, Ray J, you don't have to worry about going in on Suge. Suge, you don't have to worry about going in on Diddy. You're locked up already. And when you look at Diddy, Diddy's locked up already. They're going to try to eliminate all us, bruh. When it comes down to it, they don't care about none of us. So we need to be on our best behavior, trying to figure out ways to be men for our families. I don't want to get on my soapbox today because I know y'all don't like it once I start talking this preachy-teachy thing. But I'm telling you now, bruh, wake up. They already looking to try to, when you're in your car, they trying to stop you. They trying to figure out a way to get, pretty much profile you and will kill you. So at the end of the day, when you out and about, when it come down to your finances, they want to cut your lights off. They want to take your food out your kitchen. They're not happy for you, period, when it come down to people that look like us. So I don't know why we got to do it to each other so much. That's the thing. You look at it. We're doing it to each other on a whole nother level. Self-inflicted. They ain't even got the motor already running. The Willie Lynch thing, I used to argue that and say, man, I don't know. I don't know if that's real. But the way it looks out here, guys, it seemed to be proven real. Everybody wants to say, oh, that letter was just a letter. You don't go. No. When it comes down to the actions of how we're creating different loopholes to hurt each other, we living out the Willie Lynch story. We got to do better. As I always say, I know y'all get sick of me saying it. Me and OG laugh about it a lot, but it's the truth. We got to do better when it comes down to one another and walking and talking and unifying with one another. And I'm going to keep saying it. I don't care if you like it or not. But Ray J is going in on Suge. Everybody going in on Diddy. Cassie and everybody being abused, man. We supposed to be there for our ladies. We supposed to be there for our families. We supposed to be there for the people who we taking. As a leader, you got to understand, Suge and Diddy did a horrible job when it comes down to the people they was leading and guiding. Everybody they was leading and guiding turned their backs and said, you know what? You ain't treating me right. You know what? I'm done. On both sides of the spectrum. Some of them died. Some of them actually dead. You know, Pac and Biggie dead. There's a bunch of them that died that wasn't even in the limelight behind this stuff. Got shot. You can go look it up. Got killed. They just didn't have a name. But this beef thing been going on for years, since the early 90s. With these two guys, Suge and Diddy. Ray J he was just a bystander. But when it come down to what really going down, Suge and Diddy do not like each other, probably never will like each other. And Suge is saying he don't want to see him locked up. But you got to watch Suge because he's trying to be calculative. He's trying to calculate the stuff he do, the stuff he say. And he did come up like they was trying to get him out. That didn't work out. He's bitter. And I hate it. But at the end of the day, killing each other and knocking each other down ain't doing them, making us look like spectacles, bro. So it's a trip to me. I just say, man, get your head on. Get your head in the game straight, man. Stop what you're doing, man. Let's get it together. And Ray J, stop this, man. Boy, you had me dying over here. Boy, don't tell that story to nobody else. Do you understand what you were doing to me, man? I'm laughing so hard. Bro, what you talking about, handlebars and all this stuff you explaining, bro? What the hell are you doing, man? Man, if you really seen that, be real. If you did, man, you roll for that. But at any rate, man, get in the comments. Let me know what you think, man. Ray J speaks out against Diddy really and Suge, but more so Suge this here recently. But the news say that Suge's name has come up 50-some times during this trial process. And this is just another update on the trial, as we've been doing daily, weekly, and just trying to keep people up on what's going on with Diddy. Get in the comments. Let us know what you think. And watch this video up under here somewhere where DDG basically had, they were putting hands. I didn't get to go by there this weekend, but they were putting hands on each other up there in Houston at an event. And I think it was, what's that boy name? His brother, whatever his name is, he was, man, he slung him down. It's on camera. Y'all go check that out. But it's crazy because, again, brothers getting into it, man. We can't, like Rodney King said, can we all just get along, man? Boss Talk 101, man. Reviews.
Yeah, we on Boss Talk TV. Shout out to E. He the reason you see me.